Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new Day 19 episode of the Bones Daily Diary series. It's it's August 27th, around 2:16 p.m. A little bit of an earlier video, honestly, but that's all right. So far, pretty chill day today. I ended up having to call off work and everything. Finally got the AC fixed, so that's fantastic. Got the AC fixed, and all that's taken care of and all that. Was able to pick up my brother from school as well, so that's great, and take care of the other siblings as well. So that's done. That's taken care of and done. Then got pizza from outside and everything, so that's delightful. Pretty much a fun lunch between me and the siblings, so that's good. But overall not too bad. Today's been so far pretty chill. I know it's still early afternoon for the most part, but nothing else really is going on. Watched a lot of, well, not a lot of movies, but 2 movies so far. That was good. Unironically, it was Shrek, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Shrek 1 and Shrek 2 are perfect. Not really super stoked for Shrek 3, but continuity is the name of the game, and we're definitely gonna have to do that. So we'll get to it in due time. That's for sure. But I'm not gonna lie. Overall, it's just been a pleasant day. It's just been a nice, enjoyable day. But what else? What else can you really ask for besides that? Just a calm, relaxing day. That's the thing to really just enjoy. To get some downtime and just vibe out and stuff. Overall though, it's all grand. That's all I gotta say. It's all grand. I'm sorry. There's nothing really much to say. I don't know really what to ramble about and everything. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. But it's all good. It's all good, I suppose. I did get to see Superman again. Because it finally came out on digital. Finally got to see it again. I'm not gonna lie, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a fun movie. I understand the whole thing with like other fans saying like, oh, it's this, it's that, it's this and that. But I understand why they're kind of going like that sort of arguments about like, oh, it looks like trash, it looks like this, it looks like this. It's a comic book movie. It's supposed to be a comic book movie, and I think in terms of a comic book movie, it quite literally is just that. It feels like I'm reading a whole comic issue, but like just visually seeing it. Like it plays out and runs like a comic book issue, and I think it's fun. I think it's kind of fun in that aspect, because it's like, oh yeah, just wacky couple days of Superman. Like Superman going through some crazy stuff. It feels pretty much on the ball, with what you'd expect for a Superman movie. So it's nice. I remember like a lot of people, they were talking about like the whole revelation about Superman's parents, like Jor-El and all that, and his mom, the whatever, what was it, the Secret Harm thing, right? I mean, I don't know why y'all are surprised. There's just it's just, yeah. I mean, what do you expect? Like the whole thing about like, oh yeah, rule over Earth and become their lord and stuff. Well, I mean, it again depends on the iteration that you kind of put the parents in, because in some iterations they're very benevolent. They're just like, we need to keep the kid safe. That's why we're sending him off world into a different planet so he can grow healthy and strong and live out his life. There's that element. Then there's another element of like, oh, you're the last son, you must do this and that. And then there's other iterations where they just kind of, they're like, yes, become strong so we can rebuild and everything and all that stuff. I mean, I know there was like comics here and there where like they travel with Superman and all this stuff. I don't know if y'all remember, but or ever heard of this comic book iteration, but there was one where like they land in like medieval Earth time, right? And they literally become a king and queen. They become a king and queen. Superman's like a prince, and like I think there's a night guard, or like another younger night guard, and like he's Bruce Wayne. Like he becomes the Batman, like the Dark Knight, literally. You know what I'm saying? So it really just depends on iteration. But I think like in terms of like a movie premise as to like how to set stuff up and like let the story kind of flow in terms of that aspect. Because again, given context, like Lex is trying to, get his way with things, but he's trying to make sure Superman is out of the picture entirely. You know what I mean? So like he has to find a way to convince everyone that he's like a crazy, alien that, is trying to rule over Earth or take over Earth, but like is being very weird about it. I like in terms of that narrative, if you put everything into like contextual, I guess, flow, it kind of weirdly makes sense, but still, it was nice. It was just kind of nice seeing how stuff just kind of went about it. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie, out of all the other superhero movies that came out, within this year, I enjoyed Superman a lot. It was fun, I got to see Captain America: Brave New World. I got to see Thunderbolts. I got to see, Superman, obviously, Fantastic Four. Out of all the movie experiences that I had, because I went to the theater, to watch them and everything. When I went into the theater to see them, the only packed theater that I've been to, right, was the one for the Superman one. Like every other movie, I kind of went literally during premiere weekend and everything, and it was nice, pretty good turnout, but nothing like super crazy, versus like in the Superman one, it was all packed. Like every single one was packed, I will say, again, the movie has its perks, it has its flaws, it has, its issues here and there, but overall it's just still very, very enjoyable. It's still very, very fun. If I had to give it a rating, I'd say probably like a 9 out of 10. It's enjoyable, it's fun. The actors are great, they have great chemistry. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was one of the best casting choices I've ever seen, because he is the personification of I do not hate a man nearly enough as much as this dude does. He's fantastic. It's beautiful. Jimmy Olsen, the GOAT, always the GOAT. He is fantastic. The lovely actress playing Lois Lane, she's wonderful. And Superman's actor David Cornsweet, what a wonderful actor. He's great. So I love it. Story, pretty good. Pretty good way of going about it. And then the supporting characters as well. Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific. It's fantastic. They did it pretty smoothly. And of course, you had that James Gunn sort of flair with like the camera movements, the fight choreography, the the stylization here and there. It kind of bleeds through a little bit. His style, but it's pleasant. It's pleasant. He did fantastic work with Guardians of the Galaxy. Like those movies. And he did a fantastic work with this, and with Creature Commandos, the animated series. I think he was a writer for that. He did great work on that. And then Peacemaker, season 1 was fantastic. Season 2 is coming out, and so far, the first 2 episodes have just been bangers. So I like it. It's pretty good. I am very excited for his next upcoming projects too. I'm very excited for that. So let's see where that turns out. It's fun. Captain America: Brave New World was fun. It CGI a little wonky here and there, but overall it was good. It was nice. If I had to give a rating for that one, I'd say 7 out of 10. Simply just 7 out of 10 flat. It's okay. It's a good movie. Nothing super crazy, but just a good movie. I wish they had more Giancarlo Esposito, because I am a big fan for him. So that's my personal take on it, honestly. Thunderbolts was great. I'm gonna put it 9 out of 10 as well. Again, CGI a little wonky here and there, but overall it's just nice. It's always fun to see a group of misfits just try to work together and make things happen and succeed at it, but of course with like their trials and obstacles in the way and everything. And we love Bob in this neighborhood. He's a golden child, literally. Well, not literally, but he is fantastic. I'll give that one a 9 out of 10. And then Fantastic Four, 8 out of 10. It's a good movie. It's a good feel-good movie. The main theme being family. Honestly, I wasn't surprised that a literal Vin Diesel cameo wasn't in the movie at this point. I thought that would have happened at some point. Unironically, I just pictured Vin Diesel as the Silver Surfer talking about family. That would have been really funny. But 8 out of 10 movie. 8 out of 10 movie. It's great. Honestly, I love, out of all the entirety of that movie, the only 3 characters that I loved more than anything was the Thing himself. He was fantastic. Galactus and Shalabal, the Silver Surfer that they have in that movie. She was fantastic. Julia Gardner does great work. No, other than that, it was fun. You know, it was fun. If you guys haven't seen Superman, or if you haven't seen any of the comic book movies that came out this year, they're fun. You know, they're just a fun time to just sit down, just enjoy. Like close your mind. Just watch visual stuff, and just have a blast. They're fantastic. So I mean, there's that aspect to it, but other than that, not too bad. I'm very excited for the next couple of superhero installment movies. I'm very excited for that. Spider-Man, obviously, Avengers, Doomsday, Secret Wars. That's going to be fantastic. Spider-Verse, whenever that comes out in 2027 at this rate. But overall not too bad. I just realized I spent so much time rambling about comic book movies. God, I'm an idiot. But it's fun. It is fun. Well, I hit my limit, I guess. Talk to you all later. Honestly, talk to you all later. Again,